The views on a Breath of Fresh Air podcast reflects the parties involved, and we encourage you all to use it as a conversational tool that will lead to personal studies of your own.
Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
Welcome to a Breath of Fresh Air podcast. Here with your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz Gay. As a young person, Christianity can be so foggy, like smoke in the mirrors and so unclear. But we're here to bring you a breath of fresh air.
In the year of King Uzziah's death, I saw the Lord sitting on a throne, lofty and exalted, with the train of his robe filling the temple. Seraphim stood above him, each having 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, and with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew. And one called out to another and said, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory." And the foundation of the thresholds trembled at the voice of him who called out, while the temple was filled with smoke. Then I said, "Woe is me, for I am ruined, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts." Then one of the seraphim flew to me, with a burning coal in his hand, which he had taken from the altar with tongs. He touched my mouth with it, and said, "Behold, this has touched your lips, and your iniquity is taken away, and your sin is forgiven."
Isaiah finds himself in the throne room of heaven, face to face with God's holiness, surrounded by seraphim and the sound of holy, holy, holy. But what happens when a mere human stands before the Almighty? From Isaiah's cleansing to his bold calling, this chapter challenges us to reflect on our own response to God's call. Get ready for the powerful encounter. As always, be blessed and enjoy. All right, welcome back to another episode of a Breath of Fresh Air podcast. Here with your hosts,
Nakhaz Gay.
and Earl Roberts. Hopefully everyone had a great week. How you doing, my friend?
I'm A-OK, my guy. How about you?
That was a little weird, but it's all good, bro. It's all good. It's another Sabbath, another day we get to rest. Made it through another week. God is good. These weeks just seem to be going by pretty fast these days, and the weekends ain't no better. You blink, and you're already back to work.
Oh,
Don't let you actually do something over the weekend.
yeah, barely got a weekend in our case.
Oh my! What has your week been?
I know. You've been pretty busy, you know. First of the month. Month end close, and then I got schoolwork and stuff like that, man. I don't know, but I was thinking, like, wait, we really could do this, you know what I mean? Like, this is only week 2 for me in this semester, but I just trying to get into the swing of it, you know?
Yeah.
A solid schedule, because, like, with this type of schedule, it's like you can't do schoolwork when you feel like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to do it at your earliest convenience, you know?
Regimented. Gotta get it done.
Yeah, because it's like certain deadlines that, like, you only got like 3 days to do a certain assignment, like, and this is happening like every week, you know? And so you really just got to get to it, bro. I wish I got to go to the gym a little more, and I really don't like when stuff get in the way of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that should be almost like work. Like, ain't nothing, you can't get around doing work, no matter what's going on for real. Like, you gotta be at work. But yeah, bro. But other than that, I can't complain, bro. Thankful for the weekend. I know next weekend could be like that. And so yeah, bro. But how was your week?
Oh, my week was good. It was good. A lot of stuff happened just work wise, and then just stuff I had to do. But outside of that, I mean, it's like when you look back at the week and be like, I really can't complain about the week. It's just one of those. Like it was a good week. It was a good week. Productive, busy, good. Happy I get to rest now. Had 2 long nights this week. When I say long, long.
I feel you on that, bro.
Oh my. But yeah, man, God is good. God is good. All right. Where do we want to take this episode?
Where are we taking this?
Where are we taking this one? We doing would it be this would be Proverbs 12. You want to do something different before we get to Isaiah, which I think this week's chapter is actually going to be a pretty fun one.
Yeah, I mean, we could stick to it, bro. Wouldn't want to give us a reason to not do it. Not saying we do that at all, but oh man.
I just stopped letting you choose. All right, so we should be in Proverbs 12. I gotta pull that up because I don't have it up.
Proverbs 12.
Do, do, do.
Oh, you because the length.
Yeah, let's get it. Okay. Proverbs 12. Whoever loves instruction loves knowledge, but he who hates correction is stupid. Wow.
Mercy.
Son, man, coming out the gate swinging for this one.
Coming out hot.
A good man obtains favor from the Lord, but a man of wicked intentions he will condemn. A man is not established by wickedness, but the root of the righteousness cannot be moved. An excellent wife is the crown of her husband, but she who causes shame is like the rottenness of his bones. The thoughts of the righteous are right, but the counsels of the wicked are deceitful. The words of the wicked lie in wait for blood, but the mouth of the upright will deliver them. The wicked are overthrown and are no more, but he who is of a perverse, but the house of the righteous will stand. A man will be condemned according to his wisdom, but he who is of a perverse heart will be despised. Better is the one who is slighted but has a servant, but he who honors himself but lacks bread. Mercy. The righteous man regards the life of his animal, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. He who tills his land will be satisfied with bread, but he who follows in frivolity is devoid of understanding. The wicked covet the catch of evil men, but the root of righteous yields fruit. The wicked is ensnared by the transgression of his lips, but the righteous will come through trouble. A man will be satisfied with good by the fruit of his mouth, and the recompense of a man's hands will be rendered to him. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he who heeds counsel is wise. The fool's wrath is known at once, but a prudent man covers shame.
Oh man.
I know, right? He who speaks truth declares righteousness, but a false witness deceit. There is one who speaks like the piercings of a sword, but the tongue of the wise promotes health. The truthful lip shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. Deceit is in the heart of those who despise evil, but counselors of peace have joy. No grave trouble will overtake the righteous, but the wicked shall be filled with evil. Lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who deal truthfully are his delight. A prudent man conceals knowledge, but the heart of fools proclaim foolishness. The hand of the diligent will rule, but the lazy man will be put to forced labor. Mercy. Anxiety is in the heart of man. Anxiety in the heart of man causes depression, but good work makes it glad. The righteous should choose his friends carefully, for the way of the wicked leads them astray. The lazy man does not roast what he took in hunting, but diligence is a man's precious possession. And in the way of of his righteousness is life, and in its pathway there is no death. Here
Amen.
ends
Amen.
Proverbs chapter 12.
He who loves instruction loves knowledge, but he who hates correction is
Stupid.
stupid.
No, no other way to say it. No other way to mince words.
That is it. That is a crazy translation, bro. It is stupid. I don't know if they probably use the term fool, maybe in the King James or whatever. But I
The
mean, at
King
the end of
James used, "He who loveth instruction loveth knowledge, but he that hateth reproof is brutish."
okay, I guess so. I guess, yeah. It don't get no more blunt than that. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you hate correction, that's stupid. But I mean, because it's like it's constructive. You know, like somebody ain't hating on you. Like, if you telling me don't wear these shoes, but you don't have no practicality to that, you ain't gonna say, "Hey, bro, you wear these shoes? It can rain, and this can seep through, get your socks wet." You see what I'm saying? Like, you just telling me don't wear something because you don't want me to wear it, right? That's hate. That's when you hating on me. You know what I mean? But if you telling me something for my own good, if I don't take it, it is idiotic, bro. Like if it ain't not even that, you know, I ain't gonna put it in an isolated thing. They speaking in absolute terms.
Mm-hmm.
But he who hates correction is stupid. No matter what the situation is, people can't talk to you. They just can't get to you. You uncoachable, you unteachable. But it just ain't smart, bro. You know what I mean? You go hold yourself back in so many ways just by having that type of mindset.
That's the absolute truth. I mean, that's just an absolute fact. I mean, we see it. I mean, even while he was talking, I was just like, huh. One of the times I've been stupid, not listening to sound instruction and sound advice, not just being young and dumb, quite literally. But I'm sure we've all been there. Verse 4, an excellent wife is the crown of her husband. Mercy.
That's facts, bro. And that's Bible. You see what I'm saying? Like, real talk, bro. But she who causes shame is like rottenness in his bone. But
Mercy.
it's like, but just imagine, bro. Imagine. You know what a lot of women say, bro? Like when they have a guy and they cheat and they cheating, bro. Like it is hurt, but it's also be shameful, bro. Like that's an embarrassing thing that happened. Me and you supposed to be united, and you around having me looking stupid, bro. That's shame, bro. When you have me looking like that, bro. And that's what the Bible's saying when it comes to um someone who like a woman who causes shame. It's like rottenness in your bone, bro. Like, and that's the opposite of someone who excellent. You see what I'm saying? So like even in regards to just being a partner, bro. But man or woman, dog, you can't commit to someone and be having them looking stupid, bro. You see what I'm saying? That just ain't right, bro. And I always had a problem with gangsters and street dudes and these real, people who say they real and they loyal, bro. They'll look out for their friend. If someone the shirt off their back, I loyal, bro. I loyal.
There's a real one.
I real. But they'll be disloyal to their girl, bro.
Mercy.
Like to me, but how you do one thing, that's how you do a lot of things, bro. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you can't be trusted, because some people be like, bro, if I can't trust you with money, bro, or if I can't trust, like, not like how the Bible say, be faithful in small things, I'll bless you with big things, bro. But if I know you could be committed to someone, bro, and y'all could be under an agreement, bro, just me and you, be devoted to each other, and you could still do something like that to them, like cause shame to them, steal from them, cheat on them, but that's disloyalty, bro. It can't be, and this for young men, bro. It can't be, oh, I loyal to my brothers, you know what I mean? But then when it come to my girl, I ain't hold up that same type of loyalty. To me, that's really stupid, bro. You see what I'm saying? That's to me, it just don't make sense, bro. But with a lot of young men, and I fall victim of that even when I was younger. But it's like a trendy or cool thing to be a gallus, have all type of woman, and this and that and the third. But people don't understand like the damage you doing to yourself and to your body, bro. Like you get to a point where you a grown man, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't trust somebody. You know you deep down you want companionship, bro. You see what I'm saying? You want to settle down, but you can't even trust people because of the type of life you was living, bro. You know what I mean? Because of the type of bridges you was burning, and it just affect the way you see things, bro. But anyway, I subscribe to that wholeheartedly, bro. An excellent wife is a crown to husband, bro. Like that's somebody you be proud of, bro. And that's somebody you can't squander away neither, bro. You have somebody like that, bro. You gotta take care. You know what I mean? Like you can't don't ruin it. You know.
Yeah, agreed. Definitely agree. Any other verse stand out to you?
Let me see. Let me see. Um, excuse me. I was wondering about this. Better is the one who is slighted but has a servant than he who honors himself but lacks bread. I try to wonder, like, the moral definition, or if this is just talking about like economics, right? So it's like you you have assets, right?
Mm-hmm.
You make sound investments, even though somebody hmm, basically things don't go your way. Like it's a slighted, right? So maybe you get overlooked in some type of way, right? You know you deserve this thing, you ain't get it. But at least you have something to fall back on, right? Opposed to the person who is elevate themselves to make themselves look like they's the big shot, like they's the honorable one. But deep down they don't really have nothing. And I wonder if this what this really saying, because I might be interpreting it differently. But we have, especially a lot of young people, like our people our age, they're younger than us. They want to look good, bro. They want to look good, bro. I wear a designer, Gucci, this and that and the third. But they'll spend their last just to keep up appearances type situation. But everything ain't everything. They ain't off. The this and that. But it looked like they have it, but they struggling in other areas. But then you have other people who live in a humble life, right? They ain't have all the flashiness, and they don't have all the prestige neither. Bro, people
Mm-hmm.
might not look at you like you was nobody, but when you look at what they doing with their life, they making plenty more sense, bro. They making strides, bro. They owning stuff, I know. I wonder
I,
if
I
that's
think
what I'm saying.
I think it's a matter of pride. Like that is the person who is slighted. That is the person who is like who can take disrespect and not have to overcompensate for it. But you have stuff at home. You are well taken care of. You can go home and eat. You have people actually attending to you. Versus you, not you particularly, but versus the next person who gotta be all better than everybody else, all self-exalting. But you ain't even got no bread to eat. So which one is better? For you to have for you to take no disrespect, but hungry, or you can be like, all right, cool. My pride ain't that big. I know what I got, and I secure it, and I going home.
I mean, that do make sense, bro. And you do see people like that. Excuse me. People who like, but I can turn up if I want to, bro. I
Well,
can
what's
do
the
it, bro.
point?
Yeah, I can do it, bro. Real talk. Like, I can just go home and I can be mad that you do that to me and then I can get over it, bro. But if I engage with you, it could turn into something worse than it need to be.
Yep.
Bro, it was another one when it was like, bro, a fool is upset and they react right there, bro. Like, you remember that text?
I
Bro,
I I remember that was in like
verse,
Ecclesiastes, but
no, verse
it's
16, verse
verse
16.
16.
A fool's wrath is
Wrath is
known
known
at
at
once.
once. Yeah.
Bro, that's crazy. That's crazy, bro. A
Can't
fool's wrath,
control
like
your anger.
it ain't no secret. It ain't no secret. Like how in the bombs they say, like, oh, I know deep freeze on my mouth, ain't no deep freeze. Like
Mhm.
as soon as something on my mind, I letting it out. I ain't holding nothing. Or if you tell me a secret, I spill in the beans. You see what I
Immediately.
said? Immediately. These type of people, it's funny to laugh at to say that's what you like, but you don't want to be on the other end of that. When I tell you a secret and you around here talking, you see what I saying, or it's something that you know you could have hold that, but you don't have to say this, but you saying it.
Hmm.
You know
I
what I
still
mean?
box to put people in quick. I can't
You,
tell you nothing important.
yeah, I got that. We gotta do it, but once for me, and like, oh no, all right. I ain't telling you nothing no more, bro. And
Facts.
yeah, I mean normal dog. So that was interesting. A fool's wrath is known at once, bro. You gotta control your emotions, bro. Somebody make you mad, you can't just lash out. You see what they said?
hmm And they
But
talk
don't.
about the lazy man a couple times in this thing, in this chapter.
Mm,
Lazy man will be put to forced labor. The lazy man does not roast what he took in hunting.
yeah, that's crazy. You spend all that time hunting and you like, ah, you know what I mean? Like, I got one more, bro.
Go for it.
Hold on, I trying to find.
They
See
say
this,
lazy
this.
man don't finish the job.
Yeah, boy, this my problem with Proverbs, bro.
Mm.
They talk with the lazy man, right? But they just getting started. They just getting started. But it's come a time when Proverbs just can start remixing the same lines over and over and over, just in a different way, a little bit, you know.
Mm.
So they say the lazy man. They talk about the lazy man a couple of times. The lazy man is going and he don't, what it called? He don't like cook it.
You don't cook your
Yeah,
food.
yeah, he
Roast
don't
it.
cook it,
Yeah.
right? So check this out, right? So Proverbs 22, verse 13. The eyes of the Lord, verse 12. The eyes of the Lord preserve knowledge, but he overthrows the words of the faithless. Then verse 13 it says, the lazy man says, there is a lion outside. I shall be slain in the streets. This was one of them ones, but I could never get behind, bro. I just wasn't feeling Solomon or whoever write this one. When they say it's the lazy man say there's a lion outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you want me to do if a lion outside, bro? You think I girl outside?
But David kill a lion, man.
Would have been. See, to me, if that's where we draw the line, boy, I'd have to be on the side of lazy, bro. I'd gladly be on the side of lazy, bro. If I scared of getting killed by a lion, that's in the streets, mind you. You could class me lazy, bro. That's a normal flex, man.
You want me to go
That's a
outside?
no, bro. And this was the time when they had cars and things, ladies and gentlemen. They had to walk it, or they had to ride their donkey or their horse. You see what they said?
Double food.
Real talk. That just look like a buffet for a lion. But yeah, they talk with the lady. I mean, the lazy man from time to time. But no, I never forget that. But from since I was a child,
A lion in the streets?
so what you want him to do? Lazy or not, what you want him to do?
Go out there and kill it.
Unless you implying that the lazy man is looking for any reason not to come outside. You see what they saying? So you say, oh, it's a lion? Oh no, I ain't. You know what I mean? Like, I know. That's one
Okay.
that was always crazy to me.
All right, all right. Okay. You ready to go to Isaiah?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we in Isaiah chapter 6. So yeah, so this week we kind of starting off a new, I guess it is a vision. It is a vision.
Yo, does that something? No, is it a vision? Like, did Mary see a vision when Gabriel visited her?
I think Gabriel literally visited her. But
Okay, yeah, this different. This is a different scenario. You're right.
yeah.
Yeah, this is a different scenario.
Okay, so let's get it. All right. So Isaiah 6. In the year of King Uzziah, in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting on the throne, high and lifted up, and the train of his robe filled the temple. All right. So just there, we having a time reference for when Isaiah is actually seeing this vision. It was the year that King Isaiah was
Uzziah,
Uzziah.
aka Amaziah.
Yeah, I
Amaziah.
thought it was Azariah.
Okay, don't get me the lion. Don't get me the lion.
I think it's Azariah and Azariah. Like, I think those are his interchangeable names.
Azariah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. He was the son of Amaziah. Yeah, okay, that's where I get it mistaken.
And just even background on him, he reigned for like what 52 years. So he had a long reign, and he was one of the good kings up until
he wasn't.
up until like the end, where he get a little self-righteous and God had to strike him down with some leprosy.
Yeah.
But I mean, so like now let's think about this now, right? So now we getting Isaiah is getting this vision when you had one of the longest reigning kings, 52 years. He was good for most of that, and his reign kind of ended tragically. But so this is the setting of this vision and the time period in which Israel is going through against Judah.
Yeah.
So in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting on the throne, high and lifted up, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Just think about that. Like,
that was crazy.
Like in human terms, the longest train that I always think of is like Princess Diana's train from like for when she got married to Charles way back in the day. That was long. But imagine they saying God's train from his robe fills the temple.
All right.
And above it stood seraphim. Each one had 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew.
Did he fly with his face and his feet covered? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. You would think, right? Like, if he, as close he gets to the throne, he got to fly there. So he just.
Yeah, I want, because I know this is a weird thing to talk about, but I was wondering if it was trying to say he had 6 wings, but 2 of them for covering my feet, 2 of them for covering my face, and 2 of them for flying. Or it was saying I have 6 wings, which all is for flying, but when it's time to cover up, I got 2 sets that just do the covering. You know what I mean? And 1 just available. I know. Oh, but 2 he flew, so I guess it's saying he'd only fly with the 2. I don't know, just weird thoughts.
I'm like, are the wings that cover his face, are they smaller wings? Or are they big wings that just fold over, like, you know, them wings that is like in the front? Or he just have like 2 wings from the back to just come and cover his eyes?
Bro, let me ask you this, bro. What you think the wings look like, bro?
Bro, just by default, they gotta be eagle wings, bro. Anything else is not acceptable.
I don't know how that's default though.
Which wings you picturing? You picturing bat rings?
No,
which wings are you picturing in your head?
I humanly was picturing the white wings that all of the Roman angels and stuff. You know what I mean? That white big plush feathers.
They like white eagle wings.
Eagle wings don't have to always be white though. That's what I saying.
I see. I get that, but I'm like, I was more so referring to the shape. Because some people be like, oh, they could actually have like bat wings or like stork wings or something. I just be like, first of all, bat wings just sound evil.
It just don't sound practical, bro. Like what are we talking about here, bro? That's number 1. Number 2, I've never heard anybody say that. And I want you to keep them people from around me who think angels have bat wings, bro. I don't keep them from around me, bro. I don't want to take like that, bro. And then
because again, they say angels sound more mammalian.
I mean, that's cool because we mammals, right? But angels don't have children, so I don't see the relevance of. But anyway, so what if And yo, I just trying to have some fun a little bit, right? But what if they had like a human wing type, like, and it was like made of skin or something, bro? Like, that would be weird, bro. But anyway, go on. Yo, scratch that from the record, bro. Scratch that from. Because
I
my thing
can't
is,
even picture that, bro.
because my thing is, we just assuming, right? With this one specifically, we know with the cherubim, right?
Cherubim.
We know that they have characteristics of animals, right? So it's easy to assume that this one has it too, but it don't describe.
No, it don't describe their wings.
You know what I mean?
But again, fun fact: this is the only place where seraphim are actually mentioned. You would
That's
think
crazy.
they're mentioned in Ezekiel, but mostly just the cherubim and the other things with eyes are mentioned.
So you saying this the only time in this book, or the only time in the Bible, or the only this book mentions it?
only this time in the Bible that they actually call like seraphims are actually called out.
That's crazy, bro. Because I would swear, not swear, but I would have been willing to bet.
No, me too.
No, but that in the Ark of the Covenant they mentioned that.
Oh no, they was cherubims.
Yeah, and by extension, the temple. I could have swear it was more than one. I know cherubim was involved, right? But I thought seraphim was up in there too. So I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty.
All right, we have the eagle winged cherubim. I mean, seraphim.
Seraphim
I mean,
6.
Cherubims probably have eagle's wings too, because they have a head of an eagle.
And they have 4 wings?
Yeah, this one got 6.
Where's our 2-winged angel?
Have they lied to us? Is that what you're implying?
I try to ask the question.
I ain't come across them.
Half of the time, but like I don't. Does the Bible ever mention the angel having 2 wings? Because I know we have angels with no wings.
Exactly.
Now we have angels with 6 wings. I know we have angels with 4 wings.
Because angels truly just mean messenger.
Exactly.
Right? And so I do believe that there is a created being that is that God that are officers in heaven, right? And that's what we call as angels. Seraphim are one of them. Cherubim are one of them. An angel is really just a title. And we only referring to them as angels because they're not humans and they come here for a specific message, purpose to be a messenger of God. You know what I'm saying? But I even had somebody argue the other day that, like, a seraphim is a seraphim. You're saying a cherubim is a cherubim. But it's like the concept of angels, like we think about it, like it's like a species, like angel is a species. You know what I mean? But I don't know. They're just one of them deep theologian dudes.
I mean, because here's the thing, right? Like, if we say, like, because we all know each. Well, I don't say we know this, right? So let's just let me take that back. But you would believe that each one of these beings have their purpose.
Yes.
So are we saying that? So like, because again, when you hear a cherubim get mentioned in the Bible, the cherubim's guarding God's throne.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's your purpose.
Yeah. Even in the temple, they had cherubim statues as a place aid to show you what the what heaven is like. Like if this was heaven, they would be right here. That's why we have this here. And then the Ark of the Covenant reflected that as well.
And then where I was going with that is, do you think a cherubim coming down here to deliver a message? Or is it the next angel group that would be, y'all are actually the messengers, but then you have like Gabriel who was like,
we don't know what he was.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I was gonna say, is he like an archangel?
I don't know.
I feel like I should know this.
I don't think you should, like, because we only talk about Gabriel when we ain't even talk about Gabriel.
We talk about him when we do the Annunciation. Yeah.
Was he in Daniel? I think he might. No, he wasn't in Daniel. Michael was in. Oh man, nah. See, we looking bad. We
open up a can of worms. I think Gabriel's one of the archangels.
Yeah, Gabriel. I think they say Daniel 9. Yeah, Daniel 9. Let me see. But so anyway, I don't know. I can't co-sign that. I ain't saying it wrong, but I just can't. I don't know. I don't think I ever really thought about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Um,
got you.
Daniel 9:21. What are they saying? Daniel 9:21. Yes. While I was speaking in prayer, the man Gabriel, whom I had seen in the vision at the beginning, being swiftly. Okay, so we ain't looking that bad. Gabriel is in the Bible, but guess what? We know he's an angel because when the New Testament, when he arrives, what they call him?
Yeah, he was an
An angel,
angel.
right?
Yeah.
But in Daniel, they call him a man, right? Now, I think for a fact, this is not a human being, right? It's a being that came from heaven, and he came for a message. Even by just by that definition, he came as a messenger. This is an angel, period. Right?
Yeah.
But do we have evidence of him having wings? I
No.
don't think so. I think that's
No.
actually a hard sell at this point. You know
No.
what I mean?
And
But
just for clarification, technically the canonical Bible does not explicitly call Gabriel an archangel. That comes from the Book of Enoch. I just want to clarify for the record
yeah,
where that came from. But it does, the Bible does indicate that Gabriel is an angel with some authority, but again, we don't know
yeah,
where that lines up.
and that's the only reason why I was even hesitant to say if Gabriel was in the Old Testament because I'm like,
I knew he was in the Old Testament. Yeah.
but
That part I did though.
I couldn't remember if this was Enoch, if this was the book of Enoch.
I remember coming to Daniel.
Yeah, okay. I get confused because I know, but that Enoch tell it. They get all that. They get several
Raphael
different
and
Raphael. You know what I mean? Like they get
Uriel.
angels and stuff, right? And so I haven't read the book of Enoch, but I've read about it, and I've seen videos about it. And for this very reason, I have not read the book of Enoch because it's like I don't want to get confused, bro. I want to keep Bible with Bible. I will keep Enoch with Enoch. You know what I mean? But yeah, so we got seraphim.
We got Seraphim.
For like we assume this is just like a human looking being that has 6 wings. The reason I assume that is because it talks. That could be a flawed logic.
I'm like, that doing for you?
Yeah, that could
Just
be a very,
talking?
yeah.
You say cherubim can't talk with their many faces? But you're trying to say cherubim can talk because they have a human head. Or at least one of their faces is human.
You don't know which one talking. Now we ain't know if the bull, hey, the bull might talk to bulls, right? The eagle might talk to eagle.
All they say is when there's a pair, they say, "Do not be afraid." So we don't know what a parent.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, to answer your question, you say if cherubim was coming to give messages and stuff, I can't think of one time when the Bible identified that a cherub was delivering a message. Now, cherub has come to earth. I can think of one specific occasion in the Garden of Eden.
Mm-hmm.
After the fall, God put 2 cherubs with a flaming sword to guard the garden. So
Definitely might have been a sight to behold. All right, so let's keep going. In verse 3, and one seraphim cried out to another and said, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is filled of his glory."
it was not 2 cherubim. It just the Bible just say cherubim.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to spread misinformation, but my bad. Continue.
So, do you think there's any reason why it says triple holy?
Holy, holy, holy. I mean, we have other. I don't know, bro. Like I can't tell you the why, but it is consistent. Other parts of the Bible, if I'm not mistaken, I think in the book of Revelation chapter 4, am I right? 4 verse 8, right? The 4 living creatures, each having 6 wings.
They sound seraphim to me.
They sound so seraphim, right?
But they don't say it. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
It's like this like the 6 winged creatures described multiple times was not given a name.
But you know what else is described here, bro? They were full of, oh, I'm sorry. So they say they had 6 wings. They were full of eyes around and within, and they do not rest day or night, saying,
Holy,
Holy,
holy.
holy, Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. Like, to me, that's like the most fire thing. Like out of all descriptions of God, bro, that's the coldest one right there, bro. Who was and is to come. How, bro? What are we saying here, bro? You know what I mean? Like, bro, like, I don't exist in time, bro. I was, I is, and I am to come at the same time, bro. Like, that's just hard to me. Like, when I read that, I just get like a little excited. But yeah, so
We could tell.
yeah, for sure. And so now this adds a little bit of context to these seraphim, right? I have no other choice but to believe this is the same being described. 6 wings and saying holy, holy, holy. Come on. That's a direct parallel right there, right? But this time they say they were full of eyes around and within. And that sounds a lot like what the other one named? The wheel in the wheel.
Yeah, the
Did that have a name?
people, the wheel in the wheel with eyes all over. That's all because the people just try to call it the thrones or something. I don't know. I just say the wheel in the wheel.
Yeah,
Ezekiel saw the wheel way up in the middle of the air.
All right.
But and again, I mean, even if you go further up in that chapter in Revelation, how you could almost again say that these were the same beings because that chapter also talks about him looking at the throne of God.
Mm-hmm.
So again, these are the same angels are surrounding the throne of God, crying out, "Holy, holy, holy." And then in just like this little thing, the holy, 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 holy in Hebrew, when something is like they have it in the repetition. And so like intensifies it each time. So say something is just holy, it's like, all right, cool, it's set apart. Say something is holy, holy, you're like, all right, cool. Say something is holy, 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 you like say that there's almost nothing holier than this. Like it's really set apart, it's really divine. It's really great using the word holy in triplicate. So yeah, and then the post in verse 4, the posts of the door were shaking by the voice of him who cried out, and the house was filled with smoke. So think about it, right? You got these angels flying around. And what I find is interesting, right? They ain't talking to God. They talking to each other about God and how holy he is. Like that's what's interesting. And I there. And when I first read this the first time, I was like, oh, the doors were shaken by the voice of him who cried out, right? First I was thinking he was talking about God's voice. The only person who cried out so far is the angels. So as I in the temple, the angels are crying out about how holy God is. And the angels' voices are shaking the doorposts of the temple of heaven. And think about how mind-blowing that is.
Boy, that's something to behold, boy.
You hearing rumbling and it's they voices, they booming voices. I see why you just have to say, do not be afraid.
Boy, it's a lot going on, bro. I want to pivot back, bro, because I felt like I miss a little bit of context here that I want to provide. So you mentioned that in Revelation 4, excuse me, they're describing God, right? We in heaven, it's a throne, people are seated around, right? And in verse 5, from the throne proceeded lightnings, thunderings, and voices. 7 lamps of fire were burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of God. Before the throne was a sea of glass, like crystal, and in the midst of the throne and around the throne were 4 living creatures, full of eyes front and back. The first living creature was like a lion. The second living creature like a calf. The third living creature had a face like a man. And the fourth creature was like a flying eagle. The 4 living creatures, each having 6 wings, were full of eyes. All I said was, that's where I came in, right? The 4 living creatures, each having 6 wings, were full of eyes, around and within, and they did not rest day or night, saying, "Holy, holy, holy." So now, bro,
I ain't gonna
this
lie, these seraphim taught the song very
they
cherubimish.
sound very cherubimish now, bro. You see what I'm saying? So it's like when they mention the seraphim, just this one time, right? We don't have enough information to know if this is a different
Right, but to
situation or not.
keep your thought, I
Mhm.
about to pull up Ezekiel now too. Let me
Yeah, let's cross reference, man. Let's do it. Let's do it live. Cause me and Earl, we ain't get this deep in our
I'm
pre-discussion.
pre-born.
No, we ain't get this deep.
Cause
Cause yeah.
go for it, go for it.
Because I know holy, holy, holy was in Revelation, right? And that's what I was trying to pull up. You see what I'm saying? But then I was like, oh yeah, the six wings, seraphim, gotta be. But when I read it more, I was like, hold on, bro, because if I ain't mistaken, when they described the cherubim in Numbers or Exodus, they was describing as one being with four heads type situation. You know what I mean? I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure they described the cherubim like that several times. But now this just like saying but you never know, bro. This might really just be a compilation of all the angels, bro. Because look at all the differences, bro. You got the six wings one time, right? You got a bunch of eyes, right? And then you got the four different type of creatures. And in several different occasions, they outline these creatures. But when we go to Ezekiel, right, then that's like Ezekiel 1:8. Like that's like
Ezekiel 1 and Ezekiel 10. I got Ezekiel 1 pull up.
right, but they don't mention the wings. They don't mention no.
They do
Yeah,
though.
they do.
Yeah, so now this see this where it's getting a little dicey.
Mm-hmm.
So now I can start reading from verse 4. And I looked and I saw a windstorm coming out of the north, and an immense cloud with flashing lightning surrounded by brilliant light. The scent of the fire looked like glowing metal, and in the fire was what looked like four living creatures. In the presence, in appearance, their form was human, but each of them had four faces and four wings.
Okay, this might be what I think about then. This might literally be what I'm mistaken. But
Because I remember
uh,
these guys had four wings and four faces. Now, the question is, right? And here's where it get interesting, right? Hold on, I can finish reading. And each of them had four faces and four wings. Their legs were straight. Their feet were like those of a calf and gleaming like burnished bronze. Under their wings, on their four sides, they had human hands. All four of them had faces and wings. And the wings of one touched the wings of another. Each one went straight ahead. They did not turn. They did not turn as they moved. Their faces looked like this. Each of the four had the face of a human being, and on the right side the face of a lion, on the left side the face of an ox, and also had the face of an eagle. Such were their faces. They each had two wings spreading out upward, each wing touching that of the creature on the other side, and each had two other wings covering its body. Each one went straight ahead. Whenever the spirit would go, they would go, without turning as they went. The appearance of the living creatures were like burning coals of fire or like torches. Fire moved back and forth from the creatures as it was bright and flashing, and lightning flashed about it. The creatures sped back and forth like flashes of lightning.
bro, I want to clarify something.
Go for it.
Just now, when I said they didn't mention the wings, I wasn't talking about the cherubim. I was talking about the eyes one, the wheel and the wheel.
Oh yeah, we get
That
to that
that
one.
that might still have wings, but when I said they didn't mention wings, I wasn't talking about this description. This how I remember um this being described, being human, bird, ox, lion, same time. You see what I'm saying? But they don't
And
mention the eyes.
no,
So that
hold on, let's see. So now, yeah, so they don't mention the eyes on this one.
okay.
They don't mention the eyes on this one. So now they say when I looked at, okay, that's the four faces. Okay, and verse 15. As I looked at the living creatures, I saw a wheel on the ground beside each creature with its four faces. This was the appearance and the structure of the wheels. They sparkled like topaz, and all four looked alike. Each appeared to be made like a wheel intersecting a wheel. As they moved, they would go in any of the four directions the creatures faced. The wheels did not change directions as they went. The rims were high and awesome, and all four rims were full of eyes all around. When the living creatures moved, the wheels beside them moved, and when the living creatures rose from the ground, the wheels also rose. Wherever the spirit would go, they would go, and the wheels would rise along with them, because the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. When the creatures moved, they also moved. When the creatures stood still, they also stood still. And when the creatures rose from the ground, the wheels rose along with them, because the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. Spread out above the heads of the living creatures was what looked something like a vault, sparkling like crystal and awesome. Under the vault, their wings were stretched out one towards the other, and each had two wings covering its body. When the creatures moved, I heard the sound of their wings, like the roar of the rushing waters, like the voice of the Almighty, like the tumult of an army. When they stood still, they lowered their wings. Then came a voice from above the vault over their heads as they stood with lowered wings. Above the vault over their heads was what looks like a throne of lapis and lazuli. And high above the throne was a figure like that of a man. I saw that from what appeared to be waist up looked like a glowing metal, as if full of fire, and that there down he looked like fire, and brilliant light surrounded him like the appearance of the rainbow in the clouds of a rainy day. So was the radiance around him. Okay, that was a mouthful.
Yeah. So okay, I know I can't speak to Revelation, and thank God we ain't there yet.
And then just going to Ezekiel, Ezekiel 10, now to clarify it a little bit more. I looked and I saw the likeness of the throne of lapis lazuli above the vault that was over the heads of the cherubim. So now we see Ezekiel is calling, in Ezekiel 10, he is calling the same creatures he described in Ezekiel 1, now cherubim, the four winged creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Now the cherubim were standing on the south side of the temple when the man went in, and the cloud fully in accord. So
if you go to like around verse 6 and like or like verse 9, they make a clear this verse 9. Well, go from if you go to like from 6 to 10, they make a clear distinction between the two.
When the Lord commanded the man in the fire from among the wheels, from among the cherubim, then the man went in and stood beside the wheel. Then one of the cherubim reached out his hand to the fire that was among them. He took up some of it and put it into the hands of the man in linen, who took it and went out. Under the wings of the cherubim could be seen what looked like human hands. I looked and I saw beside the cherubim 4 wheels, one beside each of the cherubim. The wheels sparkled like topaz. As for their appearance, the 4 of them looked alike. Each wheel was intersecting a wheel. As they moved up, they would go in the 4 directions the cherubim faced. The wheels did not turn about as the cherubim went. The cherubim went in whatever direction the head faced, without turning as they went. The entire bodies, including their backs, their hands, and their wings, were completely full of eyes, as were their 4 wheels. I heard the wheels being called the whirling wheels. What did King James say about that?
Boy, but all I can say is I stand corrected. And audience, forgive us if that was a lot that we just gone through just now, because
we had to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, we had to get to the bottom of it, right? So yeah, we can see that sometimes the description of these beings, these angels, they build upon each other, right? So by the time we get to Ezekiel 10, we realize that these angels, they are covered in eyes. Period. The
It looks like both of them covered like seraphim and cherubim covered in eyes. But what's interesting is, I'm sorry, I want you to finish your point.
Go on. No, go on.
I said, like, what I see the distinction being is that the cherubim seem to have all 4 faces on it, versus the seraphim described in Revelation. It was like one was an eagle, one was an ox, one looked like a human, one looked like a cow. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seemed like they have, like, because you have the same imagery being, but it's like one have all, and the next one's like be individual with our 6 wings and eyes. But to be covered in eyes is still. Wait, I see why you gotta say do not be afraid, bro.
Exactly. Nah, if that's the, and I trying to leave room for just.
Nah, I sure it might look beautiful, you know.
For sure. I mean, it might. It might. I know. Because here's the thing, bro. Like, I just feel like sometimes we just assume. Okay, I can put it like this. a Komodo dragon is God's creation.
But yeah, I was thinking about an alligator too, bro. Why are we supposed to
Right.
think about reptiles? It's
Yeah.
ugly, but
Right. You said it's still God's creation, period.
Mhm.
And everything has a different purpose, a different reason and a different shape and form. So
But
I do know
I'm
it.
mad at every angel that ain't covered in ice I see in my life now.
Yeah. The more you know. So I still try to leave room in my mind for description of other messengers of God that just truly have not had a reason to come here. But I don't know why God would leave it out. If they telling us what the angels with this God the throne, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But anyway, I mean, I think it's safe to say angels just covered in eyes, bro. Like,
Yeah, you get the
but then
six wing
again,
kind.
but then again though, but then
Mm-hmm.
again, if we think about it, when we have angels who was in plain sight on earth and clearly was in covenant eyes.
Okay, so
Now,
outside of cherubim and seraphim, there's still room for y'all not to be covered in ice.
right, but then you could also say if you say, bro, every angel is covered in eyes,
Bro,
but angels can take different forms, just like how the devil can appear as an angel of light, or you know what I mean. And for reference, y'all, the angels, excuse me, angels who came in Sodom and Gomorrah,
bro, wasn't
Lot didn't
Lucifer
even
a
know they was
cherub?
angels. I don't think the Bible say, but
I think it does. Okay, keep going, keep talking.
okay, so
So this in my head for some reason. I gotta crock it. Y'all getting like a behind the scenes pod tonight.
yeah, so if we think about Sodom and Gomorrah, right? The angels, Lot saw men. Lot invited them in. They were clearly angels. We know that from when they was with Abraham that they was angels. But Lot didn't notice that until the end of the night when Lot needed to be saved and it was time to evacuate. That's when it became clear that these was angels. So one could argue angels can take different forms if need be, or not all angels are fall under those three categories that we named: the seraphim, the cherubim, and the wheel in the wheel. And I don't know, I only could go based on the evidence that we do have. We do know that there's a wheel with a bunch of eyes intersecting another wheel, eyes everywhere, right? We do know that we have a six-winged creature with one head, a bunch of eyes. You see what I'm saying? And then we do know that we have another creature that is like a mix between eagle, ox, lion, and I always forget the fourth one, human. Eagle, ox, lion, and human.
Okay.
They have four faces.
So the Bible does indicate that Lucifer was a covering cherub.
Okay, give it to me.
So in Ezekiel, go figure, Ezekiel, but in Ezekiel 28, and
Oh, when they talk, but he had the pipes in them. What could sing with the musical.
well, this one we talk about, like, essentially kind of his prior, right? But like, I just read from
Yeah,
verse
yeah,
14.
read it. Yeah,
Thou art anointed. Still, that's still the King James version I was
yeah,
looking, but
yeah. I
thou
think
art
it's
anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in all thy ways the day that thou wast created, till iniquity was found in thee. By the multitude of thy merchandise, thou have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God. I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reasons of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before the kings, that they may behold thee.
bro. Uh yeah, yeah. It's a line in there. I know where it is. But it was saying something, but it's like it was saying something to mention like the instruments inside them. But when I actually read it, it was only there on. I think it was only there in the KJV. But anyway, we get that when we get to Ezekiel.
Yeah, but again, it shows that Lucifer was an angel. Now
Okay,
we know.
I find
Go
the right
for it.
part. Verse 13.
Okay, I
Thou
was.
hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering. The sardius, the topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou was created. And so, a lot of people interpret that to say like your vocal cords, or like, I don't know, if you just had like instrumentation within you since you were created, and all that to say that you were beautiful, and um you were glorious, and that also fed into the pride, into your pride. You started from verse 14, eh?
Yeah, I saw the one
Yeah,
below.
yeah,
I was on the hunt for cherub.
yeah. I got you.
And for those who might be like me, questioning what a carbuncle is, it just looks like a ruby.
But I wish the Holy Spirit did lead us to this study prior to. Oh, okay, I found it. So you see, like how they just mentioned all of that just now.
Mm-hmm.
When we go to Revelation, when they talk about the throne of God, immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, a throne set in heaven, one sat on the throne, and he who sat there was like a jasper and a sardius stone in appearance, and there was a rainbow around the throne, in appearance like an emerald. That's all they say. But it's so interesting, like just like even the contrast. So like it can kind of go to show like how Lucifer was created in splendor. You see what I'm saying? Like the same type of riches and adornment that God has around his throne and a part of his appearance. And to be honest though, to be honest, if we say he who sat on the throne was like a jasper and a sardine stone in appearance. Anyway, I could just scratch that from the record, but at the end of the day, excuse me, I just seen so many dots being connected today.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like when we look at the Revelation, we see the characteristics, so we can conclude to the eyes. Lucifer probably had them eyes too, bro. But he was decked out too with bling
It's
bling.
all by
Like,
its own. This guy was very beautiful. It is so
yeah,
interesting to her because when you think about him, you don't think about the eyes. But if you was a cherub, that means you should have had these eyes. But like to your point, it was like you were so decked out and so beautiful. Like, wait, all I can say is you was beautiful. The
yeah,
Bible
no,
says
it was the freshest eyes on the block, bro. That was some good eyes right there. Like for real, but the Bible says that the devil transforms into an angel of light, right? And then when we talk about the man of sin that'll
Mhm.
come to deceive the world, right? He could be able to come as a man. You feel me? We see in the Bible, like to me, it ain't a unbelievable thing that angels can transform and come in different appearances.
I mean, we see that the story a lot, just
Right.
blatantly the story a lot. That's all you need.
Yeah, that's all you need, bro. So, and then guess what? Remember when so many other times, bro, Jacob wrestles with God. You see what I'm saying? Gideon. Like so much times we see angels just appearing when Samson's parents. Like we see angels pulling up on people and they don't even know it's an angel, bro. Like, oh, tell the man to come back. That's what Manoah was saying, bro. Hey, tell that man to come back. So yeah, pretty cool. But imagine the devil as a cherub. You say he's a cherub, or just now, right?
Yeah,
Cherub.
covering cherub. Yep.
Bro, that's weird, bro. He had the four faces or the four heads, bro. That's weird.
They say, you got to
It
do.
ain't weird. It's only uncomfortable to me because people don't depict him as anything close to that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Back to Ezekiel. I mean
yep,
Isaiah.
back to Isaiah. Man.
Good thing this ain't a long chapter.
Hey, good thing. But again, so now we had these seraphim that were crying out, and the whole house was filled with smoke. And this also reminds me, in my notes that I wrote, like, it actually reminds me of the cloud that was filling, guiding them when it was in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
And then so in verse 5, Isaiah said, "Woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts."
So,
Mm-hmm.
let's see, Exodus 6, verse 12.
Exodus 6.
Verse 12. So, all right, so now check this out. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Go in, tell Pharaoh, wait, hold on. And the Lord said, "Now you should see what I do for Pharaoh." Okay, yeah. So anyway, this God talking to Pharaoh. I mean, this God talking to Moses, right? And he says, the Lord says, "Go in, tell Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to let the people of Israel go out of his land." And Moses spoke before the Lord, saying, "The children of Israel have not heeded me. How then shall Pharaoh heed me? For I am of uncircumcised lips, or of unclean lips," right? Then the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron and gave them a command for the children of Israel and for Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. So here we see another time when in the Bible, when they talk about like just unclean lips. I have another reference, Jeremiah 1, verse 6. Jeremiah 1, verse 6. Um, then the word of the Lord came to me, saying, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I sanctified you. I ordained you a prophet to the nations. Then said I, this Jeremiah speaking, "Ah, Lord God, behold, I cannot speak, for I am," well, let's say I am a youth, but basically, it's kind of the same the concept of like God asking you to do something, right? And you turning around and saying why you cannot be a mouthpiece for God. You see what I'm saying? Like, um, Moses was trying to say, "I am of uncircumcised lips," right? Or I am. I'm sorry, no. He said, "I'm slow to talk," right? Or I am uncircumcised lips.
Mm-hmm.
And Isaiah and Jeremiah saying, "Oh, I cannot speak. I'm a child." And Isaiah is talking about, "Oh, I cannot speak," because what did he say? He
Woe
said the
is
same
me, I
thing
am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips.
of unclean lips.
I, I get a slightly different take from it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like in totality, right? What he just witnessed? He witnessed like he just get teleported, for lack of a better word, into the presence of God. It's a vision. So he's seeing this, but to him, he's like in the presence of God, right? You seeing these seraphim who are crying out, "Holy, holy, holy." And God is so holy, they have to cover their faces and their feet while they fly, proclaiming God's holiness to each other. And their voices are rocking the doors of the temple or the house, wherever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what is Isaiah right now? Even before we get to him, what is it? He's a human. And what are humans? Sinful beings and sinful creatures. And we know in the presence and the glory of God, our shortcomings are extremely magnified. So I don't even think, I mean, for me personally, because based on how, especially how this like chapter progresses, I don't know if here he might have been saying he was inaccurate, but I think for him it was like, bro, I am so less than right now in this presence. I can't even open my mouth to say how holy God is, because I'm a sinful creature and I live among sinful creatures. All y'all up here are without sin. God's glory is right here in my presence. And we see other instances in the Bible where God's glory has brought different prophets to their knees. You know what I'm saying? Like Jeremiah became weak. Job, when he's in Job, when he find the presence, like when he's in the presence of God, he ended up buckling. Daniel, when Daniel saw the throne, he ended up fainting and passing out. You know what I'm saying? It's like when a human is exposed to that sheer glory and magnificence, you feel inadequate. Like all of your sins rest on your shoulders at that point. So I think go for it.
No, so I don't disagree with you there. You see what I'm saying? But it's like the inadequacy. So it's funny because you feel inadequate for whatever reason, right? But then you express to God or God's messenger that you can't do something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, remember Moses was trying to say, but I can't do it. And God was like, but who you think teach you how to talk? You telling me you slow to speak? You say this hand, who teach you how to talk? You know, I not sent you, like basically is the thing. You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree with that point. I think the only thing that's different here for me is that God didn't ask him to do nothing yet. And there was no ask yet of him. You know what I'm saying? It's just like he proclaimed this almost just when you're talking too much. You know what I'm saying? Because he just like kind of just wanted this information. Like, bro, I see in this. Woe is me in the presence of all of this. Like, because he don't want to ask him to do nothing yet. So that's why I say it's slightly a little different. Like, I ain't disagreeing with you, Moses taking all them other people when it was asked to do, they come up with excuses. But he don't want asking me. He just in the presence of all of this, and this is raw emotion. I feel like
he trying to get ahead of it.
he trying to get ahead of it. Hey, don't ask me. I ain't adequate.
I don't know before. I know where it's going, but just in case, let me just let you know, bro. That's funny. Okay, I feel you though.
Yeah. So now in verse 6, then one of the seraphim flew to him, me, having in his hand a live coal which he had taken with tongs from the altar. And he touched my mouth with it and said, Behold, this has touched your lips. Your iniquity is taken away, and your sin is purged. And this also let me believe why I feel like he just was feeling his sinfulness in the proclamation above. Because the seraphim come to him and just saying, all right, let me grab this coal from the altar and take your sin away. That's this feeling of guilt that you feeling. Let me take it away from you. You don't need to feel this.
Yeah. And yeah, I just want to be clear too, though, that his sins probably was already purged, right? And the seraphim illustrate to him the purity of it, or God sent the cherubim to let him know that this is what it's like. And the only reason why I'm making this distinction is because in the New Testament, it's clear only God could forgive sins, right? And here we know this ain't God because we're gonna see God talking. You see what I'm saying? Like this clearly just seraphim, you know. But yeah, just need a hand on there.
And then, like, the next thing I want to point out, not to go on another tangent, I feel like we've been on a couple of tangents this episode, but they've all been good, and I have enjoyed them. But, like, this is like another direct reference to show you that there is a temple in heaven. Because what did the angel do? He grabbed the thongs off of the altar, right? And so we knew when God told Moses to pardon the tabernacle off of the pardon that's off the one in heaven. We're seeing elements of a temple in heaven right now.
Even in Revelation, when we read Revelation 4, God was sitting on the throne. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we was in the same scenario. Like we just say how the Ark of the Covenant was modeling the temple, right? And the cherubim was there, and then we had the actual the temple on earth where the cherubim statues was there, right? Then we hear about the actual cherubim, like we gone through all that today, and this where they be, you know what I mean? Like, and so yeah, that makes sense.
And so now in verse 8, also I heard a voice of the Lord saying, so now this is the first time I'm hearing the Lord actually speaking this whole chapter. Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Whom shall I send, and who shall go for us? Who is us, Kazi? Oh, we ain't getting that one today. We keep it going. We keep it going. We keep it going. We keep it going.
Yeah.
And
let
then
us make man in our image. I think it's the same us being described. Yeah.
So whoever us was in Genesis is the same us now. That's what you're saying.
Yes, that's
That's what you're
exactly
saying.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
All right. That is at the ask. Who was us? Because and the funny thing is, right, it starts of who shall I send and who will go for us? Why you can use the single and the plural possessive in the same sentence?
Yeah. Unless it's us, you know.
And then Isaiah said, "Here I am, send me. Here I am, send me." Without hesitation. Now one could argue, he already get the coal on his lips.
Yeah,
So
he clean now.
he was without excuse.
Yeah.
All the inadequacy you was feeling just get taken away. So you done in the presence of God. And he said, "Send me." And there's many sermons been preached on this. There's many thoughts we could expound on this, but to me, it's just powerful that he was just willing and able to be used by the Lord for whatever mission was about to happen. God didn't give him no details. God just said, "We need someone to go on behalf of us."
You know what's so funny with this though, to me?
Mhm.
Who else there? Who else there? What you mean who I can send? It's only me. It's only me here, bro.
It could have been one of the cherubim
That's true.
or the
That's true.
seraphim.
Yeah. But that could have been like one of them who I should send for you to say, God, see, because like you say,
he could have said, "Go send Michael. Michael around too. Go send Michael."
Yeah, he could have said Zechariah, all type of people, right? If I am mistaken, I might be mistaken. But anyway, remember earlier we was talking about him saying I am unclean, XYZ, right? You say there wasn't ain't nobody asked him nothing yet, right? So now God asked him something, right? And that was his opportunity to say whether he can be like, no man, I just like Jeremiah, I'm a child, or like Moses, I slow to talking, whatever. But no, he ain't do that. He's like, no, I ready. I mean, you already affirmed me. But my little doubts was there early, and you done affirmed me, so now I'm ready to go.
Yeah, man, it's a couple of contemporary prophets, man. If this when your boy died, that king. But even your best friend Jonah was around.
Jonah was around?
Right.
Jonah was around. Jonah's my boy too.
That would have been funny. He said, "Go send Jonah." God say, "I tried."
Don't remind me. Oh man, I tried, bro. Why you think I yeah? I didn't try that. You think you just think that? No, I way ahead of you, bro.
Oh my, that'd have been hilarious. All right. And verse 9, he said, go and tell this people, keep on hearing, but do not understand. Keep on seeing, but do not perceive. Make the heart of this people dull, and their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and return and be healed. What do you think that mean?
I think it's kind of like a it's like when God hardened Pharaoh's heart. See what I'm saying? So it's like keep on hearing but do not understand. Keep on seeing but do not perceive. It's like to me it's two ways. It's two ways I look at this. One, it's like when your parents say keep it up, right? But they don't mean keep it up. You see what I'm saying? Like this is a threat to say, bro, like keep it up and it ain't gonna work out for you type situation. So he's saying keep on hearing but don't understand. You see what I'm saying? Keep on seeing but do not perceive. You know, like to say, bro, y'all doing all these things and it ain't amounting to like there's no fruit of it. Like keep it up, right? Or it's another one to say, to explain that y'all already being hardened, like how Pharaoh is already hardened. So it's like God was petitioning Pharaoh, but God already crystallized his heart, right? And we know that because it was written in the Bible, because we read the story after the fact, right? And they might not understand that neither. So this might be a way of God saying, this is the message I have for y'all, bro. Y'all are ready to a point where y'all don't listen to me no more. You see what I'm saying? And this my way of letting you know I already accept this and I holding you all to that, and this is how it's going to continue to be. Keep on doing, keep on hearing and don't understand. Like this, that's how it is for you all now. I mean, that might have been God's way of introducing it, but I actually was leaning more towards the side of keep on doing that and okay, keep it up, keep it up. But also, I ain't saying that I know this for sure. You say because it was a little confusing when I read it too.
Yeah, I agree. I think I definitely agree with that sentiment. But to me, it's like a double. It's like both in this, right? Like, go and preach to these people, right? There's going to be people who do not understand and do not. To me, it's almost like do not be disheartened when they don't understand, because you have these people who are going to hear but do not understand. They're going to keep on coming, but they're not going to perceive. Their hearts are going to be dull. But you also going to have these people who see and hear and understand with their heart and going to return and be healed. It's like that double, like, you have a job to do. Do not be discouraged in your job. There will be people whose hearts are hardened, but by hearing this truth, it will, to your point, almost like lock them in place. You know what I'm saying? But you have to go and do this mission because it's an important work.
Yeah. And yeah, and so I think I find a little like a third option was like oh no, just still the first option when I really think about it. But it's just really saying keep on hearing and don't understand. Like I preaching to let you know, hey, boy, it ain't
Peaches and cream.
it ain't gonna be peaches and cream forever, bro. Like I just let you know, if you keep it up like this, that ain't really gonna be what y'all want, what y'all looking for, you know. Not to say that God was telling them to don't understand, because I would, I ain't saying I ain't ruling it out, but I would find it kind of like counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But,
Now in verse 11, then Isaiah asked, how long? You sending me on a mission, right?
mm-hmm.
But how long?
How
This
long?
for? And God answered, until the cities are laid waste and without inhabitant. The houses are without a man. The land is utterly desolate. The Lord has removed men far away, and the forsaken places are many in the midst of the land. But yet a tenth will be in it, and will return and be for consuming, as a terebinth tree or as an oak, whose stump remains when it is cut down, so the holy seed shall be its stump.
Boy, oh boy. So heavy of it, bro. I think it's safe to say every chapter so far in the book has had some element of Israel and Judah's impending destruction. You see, like even when we learn about the angels on this episode or on this chapter, it still end by saying, bro, this is still an issue that's going on right now, bro. That needs to be, that needs to be corrected. What's so interesting with this though, bro? Excuse me. Wait, who did he say he was send this to? Tell this to the people, right? It don't say who the people is. Excuse me. We know for a fact that Israel was falling off, but Israel was worshiping idols. Israel was doing a bunch of foolishness for a long time at this point. But Judah should be okay. Judah, the people of Judah, they was doing good in the eyes of God. Except, so okay, so hold on. This is one thing I wanted to mention. So I just remember it. Let me see. 2 Kings chapter 15, in regard to the state of Judah during during the king Uzziah, aka Azariah, right? Um, he did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, according to all that his father Amaziah had done, except that the high places were not removed. The people still sacrifice and burn incense on the high places. And then the Lord struck the king so that he was a leper until the day of his death. So he lived. He came into power when he was 16,
Yeah.
and he died when he was what 68.
Yep.
68. And so for 52 years he reigned, and he did good, except he left Judah to be able to worship other idols if they so desire. His stance was, oh God, the Most High God, Yahweh. But he wasn't zealous enough to say, hey, I ridden the whole line of that. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think, I think, I think, only like one or two kings actually took that stance. But anyway, so it was kind of interesting to me because not every king was even like him. He was actually one of the good kings until he became self righteous and decided to break one of the laws by worship, like offering incense in the temple. Or
Yeah, he offered incense in the temple, and
and
then he routed the priests.
they tried correcting us like, no, bro, you gotta leave here, you gotta leave here. And he's like, no, bro, I ain't going nowhere, bro. Like, what do you think you all this? And yeah,
Leprosy.
leprosy. I can
That's
leprosy you. He feeling that on his skin.
like a leprosy. You was crazy.
Yeah, I can leprosy you, bro.
Ultimate Uno God.
You talk, because he had to live in a whole separate house, the Bible says. So anyway,
Mhm.
so it was interesting to me because I'm like, bro, you would assume that Israel, that Judah was doing good at this time because they had a good leader. And as we see throughout the Bible, especially throughout Kings and Chronicles, when the leader set the standard, the people follow suit, you know. But God still have this prophecy. He's still saying this to the people, like in the end, say this to Israel. More than likely, Israel was probably the main recipients of it because they didn't have no good leader. Period. Right. But
Mhm.
even in the midst of Uzziah, he still had his pitfalls, where he himself had a pitfall, but he still allowed the worship of idols. And it would make sense that even if you are, let's say, excuse me, let's say one day you implement that, hey, we all right, y'all, we gotta. Let's say you wasn't keeping the Sabbath, we're like, bro, we gotta keep the Sabbath now. Like me and all my people, my family, whatever, we can keep the Sabbath, and they know it. And some people do, some people don't. That's a very normal occurrence, right? God basically saying to them who know right or know the law and choose that, hey, keep listening and not hearing. You see what I'm saying? Y'all know what y'all supposed to do. Like, we have an example of a king. Like, if this was the other times when even the king was worshiping idols and stuff like that, then it's
Mhm.
like there's no standard because everybody. I mean, that ain't justifying it neither, right? But it's a little different when you actually have someone who set an example for you. And God's like, bro, keep listening and not hearing, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, keep looking but not seeing type situation. Like, it can come a time when destruction gonna come on you. And Isaiah, he probably understood the state of the people he was talking to, and it's like, hold on, I know these people. You ain't gotta tell them to keep looking and not seeing because they just ain't gonna see nothing.
They
Like,
just ain't gonna see. Lord of
they just
mercy.
ain't they can read, they ain't gonna understand. That's just how they is. So how long I should do this? Until the end, bro, until destruction happens, bro, until nobody left in the cities,
Stiff necked people.
you know? And I know it's kind of crazy, bro, because even when you think about Jeremiah, you think about Isaiah, bro, like they wasn't welcomed. This wasn't like you come in with this message and it wasn't well received. Now, granted, a lot of people don't take correction. The Bible say, fool. What they say, the fool, like the fool who hates correction is stupid, or some who hate correction is just stupid, or whatever it is. But a lot of people they can't take reproof. You have a whole nation of people, the prophet coming and telling you a word of God. And God already saying how it can end. Excuse me, he already saying that you could be talking, people ain't gonna understand. And you could tell them they ain't gonna understand and they ain't hearing. And it still ain't gonna make no
I ain't gonna
difference.
change nothing.
It ain't changing nothing, bro. And this could be till the end. And so we can see that Isaiah was here during a time, bro, when it was right and wrong all over. Mostly wrong. Their sister nation. Isaiah, I can't remember if he was from Judah or if he was from Israel, but Israel was clearly not following after God. And he having very spiritual visions.
He was to Judah.
He used to Judah, okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had a very spiritual vision where he saw he saw the angel, he heard directly from God, and the message was consistent with what we already started speaking on in this book. In this chapter, Isaiah sees the Lord seated on a throne in his temple, with his robe filling the entire space. Seraphim surround him, singing, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts." When Isaiah witnessed this, he starts to repent, saying, "Woe is me, I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips." But the seraphim touches his lips with a burning coal from the altar. Then God asks, "Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?" And Isaiah responded, "Here I am, send me." Finally, God commissions Isaiah to deliver a message to Israel, warning that the people will be spiritually blind and deaf to his words. But despite this, Isaiah must still preach until judgment comes, leaving only a small remnant that will one day bring restoration. But we'll talk more about the prophecies in Isaiah on the next episode of A Breath of Fresh Air. Tonight's episode included voice acting by your host, Nakhaz. Remember to go ahead and research on your own in order to get a more firm understanding of tonight's episode. And if you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. You can follow us on social media at A Breath of Fresh Air Pod on Instagram and BOFAPOD on Twitter. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you next week.